If you want to grow a bullet journaling account on Instagram, I hate to break it to you, but the key, it's Reels. It's Reels. I've had a bullet journaling Instagram account for 2, maybe 3 years now, and I've definitely learned a lot about how the algorithm works and how it flows and changes. So today I want to talk about my experience with growing a bullet journaling Instagram account and tips for you if you also want to join this online niche. Like I said, it's really basically reel based. This isn't news. But before we get into the real side, I do want to talk about some general tips, specifically for Instagram, but also work on many other social media platforms if you're trying to show your bujo online. So the first thing is, I would say look at the niche right now and see what's being trendy, see what's going viral, see what people are liking, and take your inspiration from that. If you have a bullet journaling account, look and see what different things are being posted and what people actually like to engage with, and start posting along those lines. That way you're not trying to post pictures of friends or topics that your audience isn't even interested in. Don't copy, of course, but using ideas from other people and merging it into your own niche, your own style of bullet journaling, whatever that might be, can definitely help you get a good start whenever you're just starting off a new Instagram account, or if you're trying to continue to grow the one that you already have. Remember that your bullet journal is original because it's your creation, so don't ever feel like there's not enough room for you to say something new in the bullet journaling niche. No matter what niche you're in, I would definitely recommend engaging with other people. If you want engagement on your own posts, definitely comment on other people's, interact with them, follow other people, share them on your story, because not only will that signal to the algorithm that you are ready, you are on the app, you're spending time, you're wanting to push out other people, it'll also send engagement back to your own account because people will obviously be commenting back. And because it is a video all about Instagram, this sounds like a great opportunity for me to plug mine. So if you want to follow my bullet journaling or my personal Instagram, they'll be here on the screen and down below. Whatever your niche is, you have to make it very clear what your account is about. Bullet journaling or not, you have to really signal to the algorithm what you're going to be posting about and who to target your content to. Specifically, a tip for this is in the little bolded nameplate in your bio, you can always put a couple keywords. That way when people search up those keywords like bujo inspo or bullet journaling, they'll have your name pop up in search. You can also put keywords in your bio. Hashtags and keywords kind of like shift in and out. I do use them on YouTube a lot because it can help for ranking in SEO, but they're not really as important on Instagram. The algorithm is always changing as far as hashtags go, but I feel like 3 to 5, relatively specific, between 5 and 15,000 people on that hashtag, that's a good place to target. So instead of just writing hashtag bujo, because it probably has like 1 million posts in that hashtag already, maybe say bujo inspiration for beginners. Still be a relatively searchable keyword and relative to your content, but not something super broad like hashtag journaling. Personally, one thing that I like to do sometimes is start a series. You know, whenever you like scrolling on your For You page and it'll be like blah 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 part 37 and you're like, wait, they did this video 36 other times. It's crazy, but it kind of works because then you have to go back and watch the other ones and be like, I wonder what they did differently the other time. If you start a series, not necessarily 27 episodes of it, but if you are drawing different, I don't know, Winx fairies, and in your first reel you do one of them, and then in your second reel you do another, and people could even comment like, which one do you want next?
And they'll be like, oh, I want this one, bloom, and they'll be like, oh great, and then you can tap and respond to the comment with a reel, and all of a sudden there's part 3 in the series. And
it's just like continuing the Instagram cycle over and over. So if you want a way to find easy engagement and to quickly grow your channel, I definitely suggest series. On the topic of that, anything you can do that uses Instagram features is fantastic. So when you're on your story, make sure you're putting polls and questions and stuff on your story, the way they can interact with it when they see your story, and make highlights and add music to your pictures. Any different like activity that you can do on Instagram that's not just like post a picture or like post a reel, like things specific you can do to interact with the algorithm and the app will definitely help you get your posts boosted. And the last general tip I want to talk about is just generally, like, no matter what niche you're in, make sure you're giving meaningful, short and sweet tips, and no matter what content you're making. It doesn't necessarily have to be like teaching someone how to do things, like a how-to video. It could also be like a breaking myths video or a personal experience video, or even just like something that's pretty but people want to come back to it because they like the way that your account looks. Something that gives them reason to follow and stick around, because they can like a post and move on, but what are you going to give them that makes them want to actually stay? Alright, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, reels are really what's key right now, and they have been for like 2 years. So if you're just not jumping on the bandwagon, you better get to it, bestie. Since reels do get shown to many more people than just normal posts do, that's probably the direction you want to go down. We can get into the specifics of bullet journaling accounts later, but as far as any niche, if you're trying to grow your reels and get more engagement on your reels, the first thing you need is a really, really strong hook. And I'm talking in the first 2 seconds. Yeah, that's right, 2 seconds, 2 to 3, I guess. But you need something that's going to hook the viewer for the entire duration of the reel. Now, I would recommend keeping your reels shorter. People say that around 7 to 8 seconds is the probably most popular amount for a reel. Personally, for me, I create longer reels most times around 20 seconds because it's usually me making a bullet journaling spread. But no matter what reel type you do, you need a hook that's going to keep them engaged, whether that's flashing words, your face, and you're like in the middle of saying something, or you show them the after, like the after of like a dress you made or an art picture you did or something like that. Whatever it is, get them hooked. Speaking of 2-second hooks, I definitely recommend keeping your clips very sweet and short. Every 2 seconds you need to change to something else. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change position of your camera, although I definitely recommend that. If you are using a tripod, you just have to make sure that you're not taking long pauses when you're talking or in whatever you're doing, like they're not really extended periods of time in each clip. Like keep it fast, keep it snappy. This is a reel, it's a short, okay, not a long form video. A lot of Instagram, in fact most of Instagram, comes directly from TikTok. So if you're looking to jump on a couple trends, which isn't the only way to get popular, but it is a way to get popular, then definitely look at TikTok trends, see what music is blowing up, see what styles, trends, you know, and then put them onto Instagram, because I guarantee in about a week those will be blowing up on Instagram and you would have already been on that trend, so your video will get pushed a lot more. If you are talking in the reel, or even if you're not, I would definitely recommend using captions to kind of describe what you're doing. Most times people watch reels or anything on the For You page on mute, so by using captions it'll keep their attention span longer. If for some reason you're not talking in your video, maybe it's like a really, really short video, I would definitely recommend keeping a lot of information in the caption of the video. So if it's like a short, like 4-second video, and then like you tap the caption, it has like this paragraph worth of information that you can take in and learn from. That's also great because while you're reading that caption, the reel is playing and looping in the background. You're getting view after view after view while that person is reading your content in the caption. You see where I'm getting at here? Speaking of looping, if it is possible, I would 100% recommend trying to loop your reels. So something that I like to do is whenever I'm filming, I will like slide my journal into view at the beginning of each video, and then at the end of the reel, whenever I close the journal, it's like done making the spread, I'll pull it out in the same direction, because that way whenever the reel restarts, it like looks like I just pulled it back and put it back in. So it's almost like the video is looping, and that doesn't make it as obvious that the reel is over, so therefore people might watch it a second time. And it's also really satisfying to see the loop, so people might watch it a third time. You never know. So if it's possible, definitely loop your videos. The last thing is a little more art specific, but if you are a bullet journaling account like me, or even if you're not, if you're going to do like a reveal video where like at the end it's like, ooh, look at what I did, I would definitely recommend getting like closer and closer into your art. So like one thing that I do whenever I'm journaling is I'll like hold the camera out here and I'll like draw May, and then I'll come over here and I'll like draw a box, and I'll come over here and I'll draw a butterfly in my spread, right? But like the camera will only get super close up like videos and clips of what I'm doing, so they really see the detail of the pencil, but they can't see the finished product. And so they're wondering throughout the entire reel, like, ooh, what's it gonna look like? Ooh, what's it gonna look like? And then finally end, you like zoom out and you're like, ta-da! And it like really creates suspense throughout the entire reel and keeps them watching longer. If you are trying to post bullet journaling videos on Instagram, this is where you want to keep watching, because I'm going to list a couple different reel ideas for bullet journaling specific niches on Instagram that have worked wonders for me in the past. And like I said, I've been doing this Instagram thing for 2, maybe 3 years, so I've had a lot of practice. There's the classic introduce your bullet journal theme. So you open your video, you tap your page, oh my gosh, it's a new theme. Or even if you just like open your journal, it's always super exciting in the bujo niche to see like what people's new theme is every month. So a slow reveal, and you're just like first introducing that particular spread to your account, everyone's gonna want to see it, and I mean everyone. Anytime that you want to make a spread, you can do something simple like a before, tap, and after. Transitions are always good. You can also do ones that I like to do more often, which is make a spread with me. Like I said, slowly getting pictures of you doing small little things, at the end you reveal your spread. Always works well because attention is super long. Flip throughs are not always good. It really depends on how you do it. So I've noticed that whenever I do a flip through, like I put my camera up on a tripod and I just slowly flip through the pages, it's interesting because people love to see all of the spreads that you made. However, that type of video is better for long form content because people are ready to sit there for a second and like admire each and every spread. If you're going to do a flip through on reels, I would recommend intermediating, is that the right word? Probably not. Between the clips of like you flipping through the pages, do some close-ups of your spread. Just like I said earlier, every 2 seconds you want a different clip. Instead of doing a full video of you just slowly flipping through the pages. If you do like close-ups in the middle of it, then it'll be like quickly back and forth, and that'll keep your attention span longer. ASMR videos are fantastic in the bullet journaling niche. Anytime you can hear paper unripping from a washi tape roll or like a pen clicking, here, ready? Like, it's so satisfying. So if you want to do like a chill journal with me, just keep your audio really high. That way you can hear each of the little unrolls, untapes, the clicks, those, and especially if they're in quick succession with the sound effects, will 100% keep your engagement super high. All right, so those are some general tips. Let me know in the comments below if you want to hear more, but this video is not done yet because I want to show you guys some of this in action. So come with me as I make a reel and show you guys my process on Instagram as I'm making my weekly spread for this next week. Hello, okay. So now we're in screen recording. I'm gonna go into Instagram, go to my Bujo account. By the way, I'm hosting a giveaway. You should definitely join. But let's go into Reels. So I basically want to make this weekly spread. I have my layout already drawn out. I have a little sketch over here that I'm gonna color in a bit. So like I mentioned, you always want something to loop. So I'm just gonna start with the loop that I always do by pushing my journal in. Ready? So I'll press play. Stop. And then I'll do another one because I want these clips to be in quick succession. So I want to stop it and restart it because when you're editing in Instagram Reels, you can't cut a clip. So if you do 2 clips, then you can shorten them however length you want. So I'll start a new clip and open. Perfect. So that's all we need for the introduction. Now let's get set up for a little more journaling. The first thing I want to do is start outlining a box. So I'm going to pull one of these pens over here. We're just starting out the spread. We don't need to do something close up yet because nothing's being revealed, but I'm just going to get set right here. Make sure my hand is steady because I am doing this filming with my hand, and let's press play. They don't need to be super long clips. Like I said, everything has to be under 2 seconds. Now it's probably 3 on its own. So now that I've stopped, can continue the line all the way down. Let's do one more. So like you'll see, that was one clip that way. The next clip is going to be from the top because I want things to be changing angles. And it's kind of hard for me to film like this, so I'll have to do it like that. So I'll get started and then I'll press play. Now it's important when doing this to remember that Instagram wants you to be on their app as much as possible. That's why they have all the engagement things that they do. That's why they make money, is whenever people can see their ads. So anything that keeps you on Instagram and using their features is going to be boosted. Now normally I like to edit all of my videos in DaVinci Resolve on my computer. And by the way, if you want a full video about how I edit videos, since this is kind of in a similar niche, let me know. But I'm much more comfortable editing on that software on my computer where I have full range of all of my, color grading and transitions and the music that I always have saved. Like, that is usually easier for me. However, I have to prioritize engagement. So I'm going to be filming through Instagram and editing through the Instagram app directly because videos that are done that way get a lot more traffic than the ones that are done in an outside source and then imported into Instagram. So as you'll see, I am not recording this bit at all, but now I think I've gotten to a part that I would like to record. So I'm going to pull out the pen that I want. This time it's in a hoo-hoo marker. We just did a top angle, so let's do one directly down the line. Now that was a super long clip, but it doesn't matter because I will definitely go in and cut the rest of it later. Now I don't want every clip to be just me like starting something, so I'm going to start writing out these up here. So 1, 2's wed. Okay, now I'm gonna come over here and specifically write Thursday. You'll also notice how I get really close and personal for this clip because things are getting more detailed and I want to make sure there's suspense. Another thing that's usually great is transitions. So let's do one right here. I'm just gonna swing my pen around like this and then I'll tap and it's gonna have something there written. So look at the first clip. All right, perfect. Now I'm gonna try to hold my hand here as still as possible while I write notes. I'm gonna use the align feature though to make sure that everything is lined up as best as I can, and I'll press play again. But then when I go into editing, I can make sure that everything lines up perfectly. Okay, so now like flash forward. So I finished editing the video, as you can see the little circle things almost all the way done, well, relatively. So now I'm just do that last clip where I like zoom out of the page like I mentioned. So I'm gonna get real close, even if it's blurry, and I'm gonna press play and zoom out. Perfect. Oh, and then my microphone. Okay, wait, try it again. Okay, that was the one. Now I'm gonna do a slow pan, cut. All right, so they basically see what the spread is. It's been revealed. Now I'm just gonna set up the clip from the very beginning where I close the journal and pull out to left screen. So get it all set up, generally in the same area, doesn't have to be perfect. close and pull. Like I mentioned, we really want to try as much as possible to edit in the app. So I'm going to zoom into each of these clips. And I did say I liked them to be 2 seconds, but because I do have so many clips in this particular video, if you look, if I zoom out again, this is a lot longer than 7 seconds. In fact, it's 70 seconds. It's 1:09. So I'm actually gonna make my clips shorter than 2 seconds because I want things to be really quick and snappy. So I'll just edit it to the moment that I start pulling it up, and then I'll grab this other side and make it usually around 60 seconds for the beginning stuff. And then when I start getting into the content, like when I'm actually drawing, I'll make it closer to like a minute. I mean, not a minute, a second. Let me get this transition edited. So I'm just gonna go right to the moment where I almost tap, and then I'll get to the tap where I start to pull it back up right there. And let's press play just to make sure it's all right. Perfect. This part that I'm demonstrating the rabbit, I want to keep it on just a little longer, that way people actually see like the rabbit for a second, and then I'll go back into the shorter clips. This clip was duplicated, so I don't need it anymore. And then I did this last clip 3 times. So let's discard the first 2 and then this last one. And this one again can be longer because it's the final reveal. So I'll put it about 1:50, and then we'll do our slow pans, which I want to be about 1 minute each. I keep saying a minute, I mean a second, not a minute, a second each. And then finally, when I close and pull the book away, and if you'll watch, it's about to close. Perfect. And the last little thing I want to add is text. I'm gonna say make a bullet journal. I like a very minimal look to my reel, so I'm gonna make that pretty small text, and then I only want it for a couple clips, so it'll go to here. I'll keep it through this clip, and then at the end I'm gonna get a little gif that says follow, because this will grab people's attention. I'm also gonna put follow for more bujo content, because you always want to give people a reason to stick around, and that's what I said earlier, because they can just like this video and leave, but if you give them a reason to stick around, like look at all this inspiration I can give you, then they'll actually going to do so. The last thing let's do is talk about music. So I'm gonna pull up here. I have some music saved, but I don't think any of it, yeah. You can tell when a video is trending when it has this little arrow next to it, like it does next to movies, but I don't have that arrow on any of the other ones. Go down here and look for a song with an arrow on it that I might want to use. And I can't use one with too many views, so like I'm into something good right here as 122,000 reels. That's too oversaturated. We want one with closer to like 15K and under. Alright, so now that everything is scheduled, the last thing I'm going to do is save this reel, because it's always important to save it to your camera roll. You never know when the app might glitch and lose your draft. And then I can just come over here, pick a frame, preferably one with the title on it, so when it shows up in my Instagram feed, people can actually see it. And then I'm going to put a little caption. I'm going to hide the light counts because I like to gatekeep, and I'm also going to share the feed, that way people can see it on my actual feed and not just the Reels tab. But with that, it's all ready. I'm just going to save draft, and that reel is done. Anyway, so that is my entire process making a reel. I hope you guys learned something new, especially if you're going to be posting bullet journaling videos on Instagram. Ask me any questions below. As always, subscribe to the channel because I post bullet journaling videos every week. Check out this video right here that I posted last week about bullet journaling in a lined notebook. Kind of crazy. And I will see you guys in the next one. Toodles!